There are many things that I could say at the start of this video to even like summarize the entire topic of what I'm going to cover today. The first one being, why am I even still supporting Activision? Because they are known to be a horrific company who have seemingly driven everything down into the drain and decided that money is the only thing they care about. They don't care about fans, they don't care about player retention, they don't care about the player base, they don't care about the fans. They just don't care about the fans. I said that like 3 times now, but what I really want to touch on is there has been, an official release trailer for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 Remastered. Now, I have played the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater series, the Underground games, American Wasteland, Project 8. I basically played every Tony Hawk game from my whole childhood. There's pictures of me when I was like 4 or 5 years old, playing Pro Skater 4 on the PlayStation 2 with a old school, like, massive block TV that you had to put the AV cables into to actually get it to work. There was no HDMI converters, none of this nonsense back then. It was just me, a controller, a skating game, and you go. That's it, you just go. And I loved them. I loved them to pieces. It got me into skateboarding. I don't skate as much anymore. I still have the board behind me. I used to skate quite a bit during my school days. Now I haven't really picked it up since I've been at work. But it doesn't mean I'm not still playing the Tony Hawk games. For example, 5 years ago, we got the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remakes. I played these twice. I played them on Xbox and PC. I played a lot more on Xbox religiously. I was in free skate, I was in career mode, doing all the skaters, and I bought it on PC just to have that in my collection along with every other remake that I've ever played on here. And it was made by the same team who remade the Crash Bandicoot series. So they made the Insane Trilogy and the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 games, which is awesome. And to be quite honest, they absolutely nailed it. You know, Pro Skater 1 and 2, if you don't know the premise of the Pro Skater games, basically you start with a skater and you go through each level, and in the level you have 2 minutes to complete a set of goals. Most of them are get a high score, get a combo, miscellaneous things like breaking boxes on a certain map, or sketching cars, or like wall riding bells in the school level. Like, it was fun arcade levels that you could also take your time with at the same time, because if you don't complete all the challenges in one go, it's fine. You can just reset the level and you just have the missions that you have yet to complete open to you, so you don't have to do all the missions in one go. So it allowed for more freedom and flexibility for the more casual of skaters. I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't that good at these games. Maybe a little bit now, because I have been playing games like Fug Pro and Fug 2 a lot, so I do know how combos are. Like, I can make massive combos and know about how to manipulate the physics engine, which is a big thing out of Tony Hawk games. They had an amazing Neversoft physics engine. You could do butt slaps, you could do wall ride, bounces. You could do so many things in Tony Hawk games, and it just basically had that cool skater aspect to it, which was really nice. And 1 and 2's remake absolutely smashed it out of the park. It was incredible. It brought a new like breath of life to the series without going too far away from what the actual core of the game was. It was basically the exact same game, just with more options for skaters. You can customize your skaters, you can make your own skater, customize the decks, unlock challenges, and get like money to spend in the shop for outfits and decks and whatnot. There was no microtransactions, none of this Activision bullshit that we see in Call of Duty now, or Blizzard games now, since Activision owns Blizzard, so there's none of that shit in those games. It was just pure back to the roots and nostalgia with heavy graphic updates, and it worked. A lot of people bought the game. It's still being played to this day. I mean, if I scroll down on this page right now, you'll see there's mods. Someone made a Spider-Man mod. You get custom maps, you get custom skaters. And obviously Jack Black was the secret character in this game as Officer Dick, who you can see in the school level skating around. I don't know exactly where he is in the level, but you can see him on the level, so it's a nice little touch. Unfortunately, there was no Spider-Man Easter egg in this game, so that's another thing the Tony Hawk games did as well. They were very big on pop culture, so they would throw in references and secret characters in all the games. For example, I remember I think it was Pro Skater 3, you had Jango Fett, Wolverine, maybe, I think he was in one of those games. You get a koala bear mascot in Skate 4, in Pro Skater 4, sorry, and it was really good. It was really fun. But I'm yapping about this because I'm very worried about the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remake. So I have a bunch of tabs on my Google I'm going to show you, right? So the first one is, this is a little snippet of the soundtrack that we are confirmed to be getting. Now, you may not be as knowledgeable about the soundtracks in Tony Hawk games as I am, but you can't have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and not play the first level Foundry without Motorhead's Ace of Spades. That Ace of Spades in that game, like, it fits. It's like the yin and yang of the game. Like, it's the perfect balance. Right, you're skating around a level and all you hear is the Ace of Spades and the heavy guitar riffs and all this stuff. For me, one of my favourite songs of all time, and this game is why. So I'm glad we're getting that in the third game or the fourth game. I think it's like cross paths, same thing as 1 and 2. Same thing with Pro Skater 4. Gangstar's Mass Appeal is in this game, and it's one of my favourite songs. Just in general, to be honest, I'm big on hip hop, so Gangstar is very close to me. But I remember I played Pro Skater 4 again recently on an emulator, and going through College, Zoo, Alcatraz with Mass Appeal playing in the background was so fun. So I'm glad that we got the old school soundtrack back. We are getting some newer songs. For example, Denzel Curry's got his way into this with Ultimate, which is probably one of my better Denzel songs. I do love Denzel Curry. If you don't, then you're sleeping on him. We've got Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, KRS-One, big fan of those. Starcrawler as well, very underrated. So I'm glad we're getting a mismatch of the old soundtrack and some newer, younger generation soundtracks. The same thing in 1 and 2. We had Skepta was in 1 and 2. Who else? Hopsin, Token, like more current artists. So I'm glad that they're breaching this gap between the younger and older generations, so they can tailor to every playstyle and every culture, basically, who thrived off the Tony Hawk games. The one thing I have an issue with, and this is one of the main reasons why I want to make this video, there's 2 reasons. Okay, so on this tab here, I have all the confirmed skaters for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, right? So you got the OGs, right? You got Tony Hawk, Bucky Lasek, Steve Caballero, Kareem Campbell, Jeff Riley, Andrew Reynolds, Alyssa Steamer. You can read the page, right? Those were all the original skaters from 3 and 4. I don't remember seeing Lizzie Armanto or Letitia Bedoni on here, but I'm pretty sure they were in the original games. I just didn't pick them. Like, I was only ever Kareem Campbell or Chad Musker. Chad Musker was a goat, man. If you ever did the boombox grind, enough said, man. Or with Kareem Campbell, you got the Get a Bird or the kickflip, backflip, and the remakes. Cool. And you get some new skaters. I believe these guys are in the Olympics. I think this Yuto Hogomi guy competed in the Tokyo Olympics in the skateboarding competition. And as you can see here, there's a digital deluxe edition where you get Doom Guy and this Revenant Geezer. But again, I'm not too fussed about this. I mean, it is a bit weird that they're marketing this as DLC technically. I'll be honest, I did pre-order this version just for the Doom Guy skater because he was in Pro Skater 3 as a secret character, so it's nice that he's coming back. But I'm not too fussed about this because this isn't the problem that I have. As long as this is the only additional cost for the game, like getting an upgraded version of the game, it's fine. I don't want all these every deck in the game, every apparel to be marketed behind paywalls. Like, I just want them to be unlockable through challenges and collecting money from the challenges like you did in the first 2 games in the remakes, and you can buy everything from the shop. That's fine, right? I have a very big issue with the returning characters section because if you don't remember who Bam Margera is, right? He was infamous in the 2000s and the late 90s for creating Jackass, the TV show turned movie series. He was in CKY, which is a band beyond funny about this. So if I go to Bam Margera THPS, you will see that he is not returning for these games. Now, he featured in Pro Skater 4. I believe he was on the Alcatraz level, and you had to, I don't know if it was him or Rodney Mullen, but he was like, one of the missions was you have to manual down like this long path from the courtyard all the way down to the ferry at the start of the level, and he's not in this game. He's not in this game at all, which I know he's got some controversies around him, especially with him using and all this stuff about getting restraining orders against Jeff Tremaine and everything going on around him. But as you can see here, like, he's been a staple of the Tony Hawk games ever since Pro Skater 3. he basically turned Tony Hawk's Underground 2 into his own game. Like, if you played Fug 2 compared to Fug 1, Fug 1 was more realism. It was like you're a skater trying to start from the slums, make your way up to the top, get some sponsorships, and beat your rival Eric Sparrow in a great final jam. And then Fug 2 was more, you go around different continents and countries in the world, and you basically cause as much destruction as possible, and whoever wins at the end doesn't have to pay for the trip. Which, to me, Fug 2 is always my favourite Tony Hawk game, but I can see why people didn't like it, because it was a big step up from Fug 1. But I'm a bit sad that he's not going to be in the game. As far as we know, he hasn't been rumoured or seen in the trailer. He was also removed from a hidden poster in the first 2 games for Tony Hawk's Underground 2, where it was the original box art, but he's not on the box art anymore. So maybe Activision and him didn't get along, or Tony Hawk himself just removed him from the game, because Tony Hawk does get every last bit of approval. He oversees everything for any game that he's brought out, which includes Tony Hawk Ride and Downhill Jam, but you get the point, right? And then there's another thing I wanted to show you. I don't know if I can find it, but in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 specifically, the levels are designed to be more free roam. So you start off just free skating around the maps in Pro Skater 4, and then you can go and find the pro skaters in their respective levels and talk to them for challenges. And there's a bunch of challenges around the map, but you don't have to do them straight away. There's no 2-minute time limit. There is no rush to complete them in one go or find your way around a map in time. And the levels in Pro Skater 4 were tailored around, you don't have to go fast, you can go at your own pace, and then when you do decide to complete a challenge, it will teleport you to the area of which you can do the challenge. Like if it's a specific grind, or for example, off the top of my head, in the Kona level, Steve Caballero asks you to do I can't remember what trick it is, but you have to do a trick over this big like canopy on top of a little ramp, and you got a boneless over the thing, do the trick and land on the other side, and you can just do it constantly. It will spawn you near the canopy. You don't have to go from the start of the level down to the other side of the map or wherever it is and rush to do it, and you only get a certain amount of time to do it, obviously, but that's fine. Now there's been rumours, and I don't know if these are confirmed yet, but they're replacing the career mode for Pro Skater 4 with the time-based challenges from the other 3 games, which is stupid. And the first comment I've seen on Reddit, this guy says it exactly how I wanted to put it. So he says, THPS 4's campaign was the main thing why I was interested in the remakes. I spent the most time in THPS 4's career mode, loved exploring the big, well-designed maps, finding secret stuff, and solving the quests the game had to offer. It was a funny, silly skating adventure where you goof around, explore, and take your time. That is the whole point of Pro Skater 4. You take your time, absorb the level, and you can find secrets everywhere. Every level had secrets, every level had Easter eggs, cameos, you name it, it was all there. And I hope this isn't true, because another thing in Pro Skater 4 was you had to earn money to advance in the game. So you do the gold points and you get money for doing these gold points, and then you can advance to the next level when you have enough money or do enough challenges. And you can do random things around the map to earn more money. For example, one was like a slapping contest, or in the very first level, college, you play a guy in a tennis match, you use your skateboard as a racket, and if you win, you get a couple of bucks. And it was a nice little way to add charm to the game, and it made it more charismatic. And now you're stuck, because if we're going to have 2-minute time limits, you can't really do that, because you need enough time to do the actual goals and do these random miscellaneous objectives that the game are really going to push towards the other side, because obviously they're just going to run it straight through to time-based challenges. And I hope this is just a conceptual idea, this isn't finalized, because if they've coded this into the game, I generally won't play Pro Skater 4, because it's just going to be Pro Skater 3 with the same time-based challenges, and the levels are designed for those challenges, but it's just going to be like Pro Skater 3 with Pro Skater 4 levels as DLC. It's not going to be the different game. Now, Pro Skater 1 and 2 was different, because in the remake, obviously, both games are the exact same. It's just different levels. Pro Skater 2 introduced better combos, better ways to actually get around the levels. Pro Skater 1 was basic, but it still gave you the same idea of you got 2 minutes, go do your objectives. If you don't do them all in time, it's fine. Reset the map, and you will just start from the top. And it was consistent. One level I can think of in particular is in Pro Skater 1, the mall. Now the mall's iconic, and all it is it's a downhill spiral. So you start from the top of the car park and you go all the way down to the bottom. And it was like every objective is on your way down, but it's not in your face. Like there is still sections where you can slow down. You can even go back up the chosen path if you want, in case you missed the challenge. But the idea is you're in a shopping center. Go book it, do all the challenges, get to the bottom, and then reset, which was fun. And it worked for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. It worked for Pro Skater 2 and 3 as well. And 3 had some iconic levels. You had the cruise ship, you had the Foundry, Canada, Rio. You know, they even gave you challenges where you just compete in jams. You just get points, get some high combos. If you don't bail, you get a higher score. And if you win 2 out of 3 heats, you win the competition, which was good. Pro Skater 4 did this as well. I just don't want this to be a case of BAM's not in the game for one. They're going to change the career mode aspect to be time-based because the levels aren't built for it. If they are going to remove the free roam part of Pro Skater 4, they're probably going to downsize the levels as well, which is going to be shit because there's no remake if it's not going to be the same gameplay, you know? That would be like if when the Crash Bandicoot remakes came out, instead of having the levels be the exact same from the original and the remake, they just decided, okay, we're going to take the original levels, make it time-based, cut them in half, and basically give you a time trial mode. So there's no adventure mode, there's no extra gems for finding secrets, there's no box gems, there's no crystals in 2 and 3. It's just going to be the exact same game, but for a heavier price tag. And bear in mind, right, that this game is not cheap. This is for a pre-order, okay? So I already pre-ordered the game. I bought the £60 version, which for me it's justified because I've already made that money back, and I get access to the Foundry demo. I get to play a map for free, which Foundry is a very iconic map for Pro Skater 3. Shame I couldn't get a Pro Skater 4 level as well, but that's a different story. So I have bought the version that gives me all this stuff, and that's fine. But now I'm thinking, is it even worth it if it's not going to be the same game? I mean, if you look at these screenshots, like there's Alcatraz, right? That's Rio, and I believe this is San Francisco. I could be wrong, but there was so many. Like, look at that Foundry, Tony Hawk on the board in Foundry, and even in the trailer, there's even there's college right there. I forget what that level's called, but I do know the level. Canada, you know, iconic levels, and look at this for comparison, right? This nailed it perfectly. If I can rewind, that'd be nice. So look at this, right? Look at the upgrade that they're doing on here, right? So this is the last level of Pro Skater 3. Look at that. And in Canada, it looks great. Just don't change how the game will work. Just make it look better. Just I know there's different engines and different graphics in terms of like power and all this shit. Like, I know it's a more modern game, so you have to make it look different, but just give it the same feel. You can have a different engine and replicate the same things. You can even just make the same game. Just make the exact same game. Just update the game with graphics. That's it. Done. You don't need to tweak things for the sake of making it a better experience or giving it a unique feel on the game series, because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater has been an incredibly successful series. It's been around for so long. It basically brought skating into the limelight. Like, I saw a documentary on Tony Hawk, and he said skating was literally dying before the first game came out. No one cared about skating, and then as soon as Pro Skater 1 blew up, they wanted to make Pro Skater 2 because, you know, commercial success and the fact that Tony Hawk landed his 900 just as the games were being made. And Tony Hawk is the most iconic sports figure ever. You may think Ronaldo, Messi, Wayne Gretzky, Tom Hardy, none of those people, right? Not even John Cena, not even Rey Mysterio, none of those people. In my opinion, Tony Hawk is one of the biggest ever sporting icons to do it. Not just for the fact that he pioneered skating, but he's brought video games and skating into a world where everyone universally can enjoy it. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you just free skate around a level, I guarantee you will have fun. You'll see little secrets in Zoo, in Alcatraz, in London. You will just have fun. And that's what made it fun for me. Obviously, now, I've played every Tony Hawk game, done all the career modes, done everything. I've seen the good and the bad of the series, and I still, to this day, hail this as one of my greatest video game series ever. And not even just for a sports bracket, just in general. And that's saying something, because I've played so many great games in my life, and I keep playing great games. Like, again, going back to Crash, I got all the achievements in this game. I'm going for all the achievements in another Tony Hawk game. When it comes out, just make it good. That's all I hope for. Just make it good. Bring back BAM. Give us the same game. Just don't change things for the sake of changing them. Just don't do any of that shit. Just please. That's all I'm asking for. So when the demo comes out in June for Foundry, I will play it. I will show you what the gameplay is like. I'll give you a review, and then when the game actually comes out, I will complete it and then let you know my final thoughts. And if they do decide to change Pro Skater 4, I won't be happy. But until then, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Take care.